It's ridiculous.
Is there any a means of appeal? Is there any action you can take to preserve your vice chairmanship? Or what?
The ultimate outcome was a partial victory. They clearly recognized that they were being heavy-handed in trying to punish her to prevent her from representing those good folks over there and not being able to talk to employees. Remember, before the break, the lawyer said it was all fine. After the break, Dan Malcolm asked questions again, and then they were all a little worried about it. So clearly somebody went and decided to read the cases I told them about. So that's a huge victory for the public and for Commissioner Naranjo. Number two, we still have the fig leaf problem because they essentially said, trust us. We don't know what this report is. They say they'll release it tomorrow. There's never going to be another meeting. My client's never going to get a chance to go and clear her name. So that part of this remains completely bogus. It is interesting that finally Tom Russell has answered questions. I don't know whether he told the truth or not, but he finally answered some questions. And he essentially confirmed the points I raised. Yeah, he does stuff on the side. Now somebody should go figure out whether it's true that he doesn't have any clients in San Diego. We don't know whether he does or not because he doesn't disclose that. His LLC, the Wyoming one, is not on his Form 700s. He pointed out that his Form 700 lists his law practice, which he said is inactive. Okay, we don't know whether that's true, but at least it's listed. His business isn't, and he's apparently got a lawyer and an engineer working for him. How come that stuff's not disclosed? It's not on his forms. So there remain questions to be asked. But at least he is now has started to acknowledge that my client has raised legitimate questions. And by the way, everything that I raised today, it's on Google. Right? We didn't share anything from closed session. He raised legit questions, he responded to them. So it's still a fig leaf. It's still unfortunate that they've made up their minds ahead of time. The public is left in the dark. My client will never have a chance to defend herself on it. But the most important part of today, that she'd be able to continue to represent those folks who took time out of their day on short notice to be here, that was stripped out. That's huge.
Sandy, are you confident National City, even after reading this report, will retain you as their representative?
My city of National City has been very proud of me, of how I've been serving my community. I have done serious victories for them. For example, I've gotten the National City Balance Plan. It's been a plan in concept, discussion for over 17 years. And when I got on the board, because of my advocacy, because I'm out there, I was able to get it from NOP to EIR, approved EIR, and now it's in Coastal Commission, which is a huge deal. And so, and also allocating with our budget for monies back to our Port Highlands and National City. So my city has always said that we are proud of her. We love what she does because that's what we want our Port Commissioner to do. And you know, my city has always said we want her to be chair because chair means National City gets an opportunity to serve. And so I would say from tonight, the fact is I get to serve my community. I get to still communicate on behalf of my constituency to port staff. And the fact that that was removed in tonight's vote just shows that I'm effective and I need to still do my job, and that's been raised by members of the public.
And what was your reaction to there not being a single person speaking against you, but everyone speaking on your behalf? What was your reaction to that support?
I was so appreciative of it, appreciative of all these folks that came out, because honestly, it was last minute. I mean, I didn't know about it till Monday. And I was very surprised because it's not a phone call you like to receive. There's a vote that you're going to be censored. And I'm like, what does that mean?
How did you learn of it?
I got a call Monday morning, and they told me that
who was they?
That attorney, that was the outside counselor that presented on the
Sonia,
agenda.
Right.
Yeah, she called me and she just pretty much told me that there's a censure docketed. This is notification, but there was an assumption that I had already been notified. I'm like, I have not been notified. I did not know that this was happening at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And then it gets moved to 3 p.m.
3 o'clock, right?
Yeah. So.
Will you have anything to say after the report is released, rebutting or addressing any of the issues in there?
Well, I want to see that report because I mean, if there's these serious allegations, and it seems like, and the way it's been presented by my colleagues, they presented like it's so bad and we have to do this. Then I wish I would have seen that, because if I'm accused,
Yeah.
at least I want to give the chance to, speak up. And if my voice, if I feel like if my voice is not heard, then did I really have due process? And so I just want to make sure that I'm able to share my side, and I don't know what the report says. So we're all concerned what it says. As far as like the folks that were here speaking on my behalf, we want to see it. Because if it's, my city officials straight up said, like, if it's problematic, then let us at least get a chance to.
Right.
But I want to have the chance because there's allegations against me.
Yeah.
So.
Why do you think it was necessary to bring up Tom Russell, right? So there was definitely a part on the port attorney to keep that information out of the public, right? You guys kind of came out with that. Why was that
The
necessary?
attorney runs the port. This is not a commissioner-driven agency. This is a staff-driven agency. It's been a problem for a long time. There's people who sit at the dais for many years have just been rubber stamps. They finally have somebody who asks questions. There's internal pushback. So it's not a shock that the lawyer who knows all the dirt on all the people who've been here for a long time is doing things behind the scenes to get rid of the person who's been asking questions. They're being asked to approve something that she's not seen. They had basically said it. They've been part of a conversation, a private conversation about something that's egregious, that apparently involves the attorney. If you look at what she's accused of doing, what's the self-interest she would have with Tom Russell? They're not accused of having a relationship. They're not accused of being business partners. What's the personal benefit for her to be concerned about the port's attorney, other than thinking he's not doing a good job for her constituents? So that's questionable. And then that she's somehow being difficult. I get the impression from them that they think she's not treating him civilly or respectfully or whatever. He's the port's attorney, for Christ's sake. If he can't handle criticism, he shouldn't be here. We lawyers take criticism all the time, sometimes from you good folks. Okay, fine. That comes with the territory.
I think the agenda materials reference retaliation, and then I want what do you think they're referring to as far as
that's a complete guess. How does she retaliate against the lawyer? Just what could that possibly be?
I don't know. You guys would know
right,
better.
but if look, we guessed today.
Yeah.
Right? We guessed largely correctly
Yeah.
that this was about Tom Russell. Right? Remember, before the break, it was like, why are you talking about Tom Russell? This is all secret. Well, no, it's not. You asked Tom to leave the dais, and now at the end, Tom's the one who had to approve the release of the report. It's clearly about Tom Russell. We know that there have been issues between her and Tom Russell. There's no issues with anybody else, and it's not a secret that there have been issues.
So wait, I just want to. So when did the issues start? Like when was there?
Over a year ago.
Over a year ago.
Over a year
And so, did you make a formal complaint to somebody about Tom, or how did this whole thing get started?
The whole process, was mentioned on the statement that my attorney made. Really, it all started last year in December of 2022. So it's interesting that it's October and now there's this report of accusations of me being such a terrible person, and I'm kind of unclear about what they mean about that.
So is it based on the stuff that you said in that closed session in December?
Well, that's all. That's the only time she's broached it with anybody else, and that's better to say that was the first time. And it was done confidentially, and it remains confidential. But they were there; they heard it, right? And then there's a complaint against her. So, what's the retaliation? He was up for a job performance review. To be critical of somebody is retaliation?
Were you trying to get him fire? What were you hoping would happen?
My job was to ask questions because what my attorney has shared did not disclose closed session conversation. What it disclosed is what's been out in the public. There's been so many activists, environmental justice activists in Los Angeles and industry leaders in Los Angeles that said, we're concerned about this, we know about this, so it's like, I'm a port commissioner, it's my fiduciary, I took an oath to office. So if someone came to me and raised concerns about the way things were dealt or any business matter that was improper, it is my job to come and raise it. Just like if I did this, I mean, if a commissioner, I mean, there's been a past history here, commissioners making deals, someone has to raise it, right? And so my job wasn't, I don't have the authority as one commissioner to fire. Let's make that clear. We are 7 commissioners, and there's a vote, right? It comes down to 4, right? So my job was to raise this issue because it's out there. It's publicly out there. And
And the process for doing that is in the evaluation. That's what the closed session meeting is for her to do what she did. So what's the retaliation? How is it retaliation to go into a job performance meeting and raise questions? It's not retaliatory. It's literally her obligation. If she knows something, you see something, you say something. She saw something. So if there's some other retaliation, we'll have to see the report. We don't know what it is. But if it's retaliation, it's against her for going into the meeting and doing her job. She just happened to do it over the top lawyer for the agency. He doesn't like that. And he gets to exploit that he's an employee and that she's an appointee in order to say, oh, I have to be protected. And then you hear all the nonsense about the potential liability. Really? Tom Russell is threatened he's going to sue the port because she is mean to him? In a private meeting, asking questions? I mean, what? I mean, if there's some other retaliation, we'll have to see it in this report.